to you on a subject: trapped in love. Trapped in love. And so, share this program and come on board and let us talk about this subject. God bless you. Share this program. Invite a friend. Invite a friend. I'll give you a few minutes to share this program and invite somebody to come on this broadcast and let us talk for a few minutes. Let us talk for a few minutes. Let me read a scripture, then we start this discussion here. I want to read a scripture. 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse number 49. 1 Samuel chapter number 14, verse 49. It reads, "The sons of Saul were Jonathan, Joshua, Malchishua, and the names of his two daughters were these: the name of the firstborn Merab, and the name of the younger Michal." Verse number 50. The name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz. And the name of the commander of his army was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. So, I'm going to discuss some few things with you on this subject. And so, get connected and let us get into some few discussion here. 1 Samuel chapter number 18, verse 20. Come there with me for a minute. I have it on the screen, so if you don't have it, you can look at the screen and let us read together. Now, Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David, and they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. Verse number 18, 21. So Saul said, "I will give her to him, that she may be a snare to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him." Therefore Saul said to David a second time, "You shall be my son-in-law today." We see the intentions behind Saul giving his daughter to David, so that she will be a trap to David, to destroy David. That is the reason why she was given to David. She was given to David not because with a good intention, but she was given to David so that she would trap David, to destroy David. At the end of the day, it didn't go the way Saul wanted it to go. And so we want to talk about this on different point, on a different point. So if you have any question as I'm talking, you can ask, and then we'll come back and talk on your questions, and we'll have some few discussion on this very subject. You see that the intention of Saul giving his daughter to David was because Saul had intentions of, taking David out. And so he wanted to trap David with something that will end his life. And so when he was told that his daughter was in love with David, He loved the idea. Uh, so many things that went on behind the scene, the Bible didn't record much about it, but we know the intentions of Saul. The intentions of the daughter was in love with David. And when we read it, the Bible tells us that she was in love with David. I believe when you go to 1 Samuel chapter number 14, when you read the verse number 50, it says, the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz, and the name of the commander of his army was Abner, the son of Saul's uncle. Now, when you go to verse number 18, chapter 18, verse 20, it said, now Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. And they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. And so Saul's daughter fell in love with David, loved David. She didn't have any bad intentions, but the father had bad intentions. And so she was trapped in the middle of some conflict going on there. And we know that there were so many things that went on that the Bible didn't record. But at least we know the intentions of Saul and we know the intentions of the daughter. We see that Saul hated David and Saul wanted to trap David with the daughter. And the daughter was in love with David. And so love is in the middle of trap and destruction and all kinds of things. Michelle was in love, but the father wanted David to die, so he wanted to use that as a weapon against David. And I believe strongly that Saul will talk to the daughter about some things. The Bible didn't go into deep on that. But I believe strongly that Saul will talk to the daughter about some things that actually will create a lot of conflict and will also bring a lot of hate. But we know the intentions of the daughter here. You see, there are a lot of tribes in Africa, or even in Asia, Indian tribe, different tribes, and Hispanic tribe, and all kinds of tribe and languages and people from different places. Sometimes they don't allow somebody that is not from their culture to marry into their culture. So at the end of the day, even though if the two people are in love, because of the culture, it becomes a trap. So they don't know whether they are letting it go, or they have to get married, or they have to get him. I mean, the culture has become a trap to them. And so in the middle of it, if they rebel against it, then they have to leave wherever they are and go and start their own life somewhere else. But at the end of the day, most of the time love prevailed, because most of the time people follow whatever they are in love with, whoever they are in love with, and then they leave their family, then they go and marry or do whatever they want to do. But you see, love alone is not enough. Love alone is not enough. If love is the reason why you are marrying, then love alone is not enough. You have to have more than love to rebel or to go against your father's wishes or the wishes of your family. You have to have more than love to stand and do what you are doing by denouncing your family and marrying somebody that your father doesn't agree with, or your mother doesn't agree with, or your family doesn't agree with. There must be more than love to fuel that relationship. Let me talk to you about a few things about what is going on here, and I'll talk to you about Michal a little bit Some call her Michael, Michelle, whatever they call it. We know what it is. But two wonderful things were materializing for David. It was happening in David's life. At this point in time, Saul imagined his demonic plot, setting David up to trap him so that he would kill him. But the Lord was with David. We know that. We see that the Lord was with him, and because of that, he couldn't kill him. David had found a wife who loved him, which meant the king's daughter, political loyalty, now rested with David. And so there is a political thing going on between Saul, David's wife, the one that is in love with David. There is a political agreement here because before David even got involved with this lady, Saul's daughter, Saul said, whoever killed the enemy, which is Goliath, his father's house will not pay taxes, and also he will give that person his daughter. Now, in the Jew tradition, most of the time they give the firstborn as first before even the secondborn will marry. The firstborn have to marry first, but here we are. Something happened in the middle of it. So the firstborn did not marry David, but the second one fell in love with David, so the second one went with David. Now, Michal was the youngest daughter of King Saul, and is first mentioned in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 49. That is where we read 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse number 49, where we read, she's the youngest one. Michal is important in biblical history because she fell in love with David. And so she became very, very important in biblical history. Even though her older sister Merab had been promised to David as a wife, as a prize for killing Saul's enemy in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 17. Come there with me for a minute because I want you to get the background story for a minute. Then we can get on with the story. I want you to get the full story so that when you are asking something, you will not deviate from the question, or you will not deviate from whatever you are asking. You will stay on the point. Now, in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 17, then Saul said to David, here is my daughter, my older daughter, Merab. I will give her to you as a wife. Only be valiant for me and fight the Lord's battles. For Saul thought, let my hand not be against him, but let the hand of the Philistine be against him. So in other words, Saul didn't want to kill David. So he said, I'm going to give you my daughter. If you defeat the enemy, I'll give you my daughter. But he promised the firstborn. For some reason, the Bible didn't explain much, but we see here that David did not marry the first one, and the first one did not fall in love with David, but the second one married David and fell in love with David. Now notice here that the people that sometimes you fall in love with can also sometimes turn to be your worst enemy in this life. Sometimes people ask, but why? I don't have explanation for that. But I can give you some background of some things that happen and why these things happen. Seeing that his younger daughter, Michal, loved David, Saul considered her a way to ensnare the future king. So here we are, we see Saul's youngest daughter in love with David, and Saul hate David because of David killing Goliath, and the women were praising David, and Saul became angry because the whole land were praising David. And here we see Saul turning around to hate David and to kill David and pursuing David and doing all kinds of things, turning everybody against David because of jealousy. Now, Saul agreed to give her daughter or give to David as a prize for another attack against the Philistines. Now you see that David has defeated Goliath. Now David has to enter into another battle with the king that he fight for, work for. He took away the shame of Israel. Something that Saul couldn't do, David did it. But here we are, we see Saul turning around to hate David so bad that now he want to kill him. Saul hoped that David will be killed in attack, but all his wishes did not come to pass. One thing about being with God is people don't understand, and people don't really sometimes realize the power that is involved here when God calls somebody. Because we see outward appearance, we think that the person will walk around without power. We think that the person is not protected. If we can touch him physical, then we think we can harm him. But let me tell you, if the hand of God is upon somebody, you touch him, you touch God, you are in trouble. And not only that, God protect him from every trouble and from every affliction, from every problem he goes through, because the hand of the Lord is upon that person. Humans sometimes don't fear nothing. Humans sometimes don't realize what they do. And sometimes we don't take note of who this God is. Sometimes we play games around him so we don't understand who he is. So even if your president or your government appoint an ambassador to go and represent the whole country will back that ambassador with the power and the force that the country have. How much more God Almighty? How much more God Almighty? When God called, he empowers. When God called, he protects. When God called, his hand is upon the person that he calls. When God called, he keep you alive. God doesn't work. He doesn't call angels and use them on earth. Angels work in the supernatural realms. They don't work in the natural. Even if they come to the earth, they don't come with angelical body. They take a human form to manifest on earth. Because there are laws on earth that governs the earth. There are laws that govern the supernatural realms. There are laws that governs around us. Even humans have law. And so when angels appear to the earth, they don't operate with the laws that governs the supernatural, but they operate with the laws that governs the earth. So they come in the form of man so that they will be able to relate to man. And so here we are, we see that when God called a person, he also empowered the person. The daughter is in the middle of all of these, seeing how the father hated the person that she's in love with, and yet she fell in love with him. Sometimes love is, you can't even determine who to fall in love with, you know. You make all your plans and you go to school. Sometimes you see some boy at school and you grow up with that boy thinking that you are going to marry and be happy after, you know, very happy. I mean, things are going to work out nice and we are going to do this. You plan everything when you are young. Now you get to a certain age, you change your mind because now your feelings and your desires are changing. So now you change whatever you began when you are young. Now you are adult now. Now your taste and everything has changed. Now you get to a point where you can't even decide who to fall in love with. You go to work or you go to some place and you meet somebody and you are talking to the person, and now some feelings is building up within you, and then you say you are in love, and then you plan to marry, and then you marry, and then you look back and say, what did I do? I was in love with this person. How did I end up here? I thought I was going to marry here. How did I end up here? There was a man that came to Africa some many years ago, and I prophesy in the life of this young lady that come to my ministry in Ghana, Cape Coast. I spoke into her life and I told her about her marriage situation and how she's going to end up. She's from a village, and most of the time they come all the way from the village to town to my ministry. And when she came with the family, the Spirit of the Lord led me to say these words. I told her that you are going to fall in love with a white man, and you're going to get married, and you're going to go to America. You're going to enjoy the rest of your life there. And God is going to use you to bless your family and to change your family. She looked at me and she laughed. The father was standing there, the mother was standing there. They were asking questions. How would this happen? I said, I don't know. I just said what God revealed to me. I'm just a messenger. I can't explain something that sometimes God revealed to me. Sometimes I can't explain it. I just say what I hear. I say what I see. I say what the Lord is speaking to me. And after some years, a man came. A contractor was hired to come and do some roads where she lived in that village. And this contractor, in the night, think he went out to buy something. And in the middle of the road, he was driving back to his hotel. And this lady was crossing the street. And his car hit the lady, and the lady fell. It was dark. And the lady couldn't talk, so he took the lady to the hospital, took care of everything, stayed with the lady till morning. And whilst he was in the hospital with the lady, he fell in love. Isn't that amazing? As he was in the hospital, taking care of the lady or waiting for the lady to be well, looking at the lady at the hospital, he fell in love. And went and talked to the family after some time and married this village lady that doesn't even speak English. Married her. Now he has to start teaching the lady how to speak English. So somebody will interpret whatever he says, and gradually took the lady to school, taught her how to speak English, and brought the lady to America. Got married. And the rest is history. But I want you to understand the power of love and how we get trapped in the middle of it. And at the end of the day, it becomes a snare to those who are trapped in it. This love that we talk about, everybody fall in love, then they get married. Pastor fell in love. The priest fall in love. The president fall in love. The king fall in love. The businessman fall in love. The worker fall in love. The slave fall in love. The master fall in love. Everybody fall in love. It's a feeling that God put there within us. But again, love alone is not enough. Love alone is not enough to establish marriage. You can fall in love from heaven to hell, from hell to up. But falling in love alone is not enough to marry a person. And I'm going to break it down for you to understand. So if you have a question out there, you can start throwing some questions at me. I give you the permission today. You ask questions, and you can also add your opinion. Type whatever you want to type, but pay attention to what I'm teaching, because it's going to help you a lot. Don't jump and ask questions, but ask something that will benefit other people and will also benefit you. But listen to what I'm saying. because I'm speaking wisdom that you won't get it nowhere but the presence of the Lord. And so I want you to get this wisdom and gather them and run with it. It's very, very important. It's going to help you in the future and in everything that you do. And so David, a great man, David, an amazing man, killed a giant that the whole town were afraid of. Now fell in love with the king's daughter, younger daughter. She fell in love with David. She was given to David. They got married. Him killing the king, enemy, which is Goliath, doesn't mean he can conquer love, or doesn't mean he'll be successful marrying Michal to live happily after. Gift is one thing. David had the gift, skills. Love is feelings. It had nothing to do with your skills. You develop it within you. It's another thing. And also, he was anointed by God. And so you see that David have the gift, number one. He has the anointing of God upon his life, number two. And then there are prophecies that has been spoken on David that he's going to be a king. And Michal also is in love with David. And so with all of these, you see that David is in the middle of it. Saul is in the middle of it. Michal is in the middle of it. Now, what do we do with this? And so, David, a great man of God, is in the middle of this. Somebody is in love with him. What do you do? Anointed, skillful, somebody fall in love with you. And the love that the person has fell with David, there is a trap behind it. It's not coming from Michal, but it's coming from the father. And most of the time in those days, even now, fathers have more power or authority or more influence on their children. So there were background, things going on between the father and the daughter. I believe some of them were negative, and we saw that. And at the end of the day, we see that the woman that is in love with David now changing to become something else. Love is a good thing. The Bible describes the love of God as agape. Agape love means unconditional love. It's another level of love. This is the love that covers sin. This is the love that protects and give to man. This is the love that strengthens man and give mercy and compassion. This is the love that God loved us with. Even whilst we were sinners, he loved us with agape love. This love was his son, Jesus Christ. But again, that is not the kind of love I want to talk about today. I'm not talking about agape love, even though that love is the solution of all love. That is the ultimate of all love. Men don't understand that love. We don't operate in agape love. Marriage couples don't love people with agape love. They don't love themselves with agape love. They love themselves with condition love. Love that is conditioned. When I say it's conditioned, somebody can fall in love with you but turn around and hate you at the same time. Somebody can fall in love with you, but if you don't do what they tell you to do, they are going to hate you. They are going to be your enemy. Somebody, you can fall in love with somebody, but your love is conditioned because you are expecting things to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then things are going to happen. It doesn't matter how much you're in love. You're going to change your mind and you're going to walk away and you forget yourself that he's the one that I was in love with. She's the one I was in love with. Because the love that you are in love with is not God kind of love. It's conditioned love. That is the kind of love we use in our churches. We use it with friends. We use it with families. We use it with everybody. Conditioned love. Your love is based on what somebody do or based on what you do. And that is why people fall in love and they claim they are in love. And at the end of the day, one go and shoot the other. If he doesn't see the other one doing what they claim they should do, they kill them. Because their love comes with condition. Somebody even take it to another level, thinking that he owns your life because he claims he's in love with you and he married you. But your life is not in his hands. But sometimes we get confused and we get crazy, thinking that because we've married a person, we own their life. See, the person's spirit is not in your hands. You married the body. You didn't marry the spirit. Because you did not create the spirit. God created the spirit. Put the spirit in a man. And not only that, marrying somebody doesn't mean you own the person's life. But sometimes we get crazy with our conditioned love. And we go a little bit further to destroy lives because we claim we're in love and we claim that we've married. So we think we own the life of the person. We get confused with love because most pastors don't explain what love and marriage is to us. They tell us how happy you are going to be till death do you part. Yeah. We talk all those biblical, religious words. The couples don't even remember what the pastor said. They don't even care, but all they care to go to honeymoon, just to have sex. That is all what they're thinking about. Thinking about is go to honeymoon, have sex. That's all what they're thinking about. And so the pastor is talking about to death do you part. What God has put together, let no man put asunder. All those things the pastor is saying, they don't care. They don't, even through the council, they don't even listen to you. They just talk because they've made up their mind. They don't even care to look at the character or look at each other. Re-look at them again or look at the relationship, whether they have the same focus or whether they have the same vision. They don't care. They just look at it. I'm in love, 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 till somebody die. Michal was in love with David, but the Bible didn't tell us much about David, whether David is in love with her or not. Most of the time, somebody fall in love with somebody, but you don't know whether the other person loves you the way you love that person. Are you listening to what I'm teaching you today? Because this is very, very important. When somebody says in love with you, ask yourself, am I in love with you too? And if you are in love, why are you in love? What brought you to that point to fall in love? Because the reason why the person is in love, Michal, the reason why she was in love with David, the Bible didn't tell us much about that. Most of the time, we don't know much about why people are in love with us. Sometimes people are in love with you because whatever you have attract them to you. David was a warrior. David was known at that time. He was skillful. He played the harp, and demons that were in the father come out of the father. So David was a very skillful. And gift attract people. Gift always attract people to you. Gift always attract people to you. People that are gifted most of the time don't find right women in their lives. People that are gifted most of the time make wrong decisions in their marriages. And most of the time, they didn't even make the decision. Somebody fell in love with them. But they didn't know whether they fall in love or not because they didn't realize until they got themselves into it and then it turned into something else. David, however, succeeded in defeating the Philistines, and Michal was given to him as a wife. Michal's father, which is Saul, jealousy of his rival escalated, and Saul trained to kill David. He tried and trained himself and thought his mind to hate David, and also tried to kill him. Michal helped her new husband escape when King Saul's men came to kill him. Come with me to, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 19. Let's look at something there for a minute. Again, if you have a question, you can start asking your question. But again, follow the teaching. Let's go to verse number, chapter number, 2 Samuel chapter number 10, rather. 2 Samuel chapter number 10. Let's start from verse number, chapter 10. Yeah, chapter number 10. Let's start from verse number 7. And let's work our way down a little bit. 2 Samuel chapter number 10. First Samuel chapter number 10. Let's start from verse number 7. Now it reads, "And let it be when these signs come to you, that you do as the occasion demands, for God is with you." Verse number 8. "You shall go down before me to Gilgal, and surely I will come down to you to offer burnt offerings and make sacrifice of peace offerings. 7 days you shall wait till I come to you and show you what you should do." I'm hoping that I'm reading the right scriptures. Yeah. Verse number 9. "So it was when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, that God gave him another heart, and all those signs came to pass that day." Verse number 10. "When they came there to the hill, there was a group of prophets to meet him. Then the Spirit of God came upon him, and he prophesied among them." Verse number 11. "And it happened, when all who knew him formerly saw that he indeed prophesied among the prophet, that the people said to one another, 'What is this that has come upon the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophet?'" So you see Saul here prophesying, because he's after David, and now he got to a point where he's prophesying, because Samuel has something to do with it, God has something to do with it, and now everything turned around. Now God is dealing with him. Now he's prophesying. But the issue here is, he was after David to kill David. He was after David to kill David. Now he started prophesying himself. And so God turned everything around. But sometimes when the enemy is after us, he doesn't come alone. And the enemy doesn't give up when he's fighting us. Sometimes he uses ourselves to fight ourselves. And sometimes he uses people to fight us. And sometimes he uses our loved ones also to fight us. So most battles that we go through, depending on where the battle is coming from and who is leading the battle and why they are fighting you. You have to sometimes think about all these things. Love can be used as a weapon against you. For reasons we are not told, Saul later gave Michal to another man, son of Lash, while David was running for his life. Years later, when Saul was dead and David was preparing to step into his rightful position as king, he ordered that Michal be taken from Pelti and brought back to him. David had other wives and children by his time, and there is no indication that he asked Michal input on these decisions. She was forcibly returned to him, while her husband Palti followed after them, crying. In the book of 2 Samuel chapter 3 verse 14 to 16, you see that Michal married somebody else, and now David forced to bring Michal back to David. But Michal was in love with David before, but because of what was going on, something happened in the middle of it. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter number 3 verse 14. Follow me carefully, because this is going to help you a lot. If you are in love, or if you are believing God to marry, or you are believing God to understand some things about love, I want you to pay attention to what I'm teaching, because it's going to save you tomorrow. It's going to save you from some dangerous decisions, some dangerous men, and some dangerous women in the future, if you can pay attention to what I'm teaching today. Look at what it says. So David sent messengers to Ashbosheth, Saul's son, saying, give me my wife Michal, whom I betrothed to myself for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And so Saul gave Michal to David, but because Saul was after David, David ran away from the house. And so when he came back again, Michal is married to somebody else. And so now David have to force to bring his wife back to himself again. But notice here, I told you that love is not enough to marry somebody. This is a woman that says she's in love with David. Now David, his father is after David, and now David ran away to go and save his life. Now, before David came back, Michal is married to another man. And now David have to force to bring Michal back home again, to be his wife again. But the issue here is, sometimes the same people that you are in love with, or they are in love with you, changes. Situations happen, people make decisions, people change their minds. Whether you like it or not, people are people. Sometimes when they are going through trouble, they claim they are in love. But when they get out of the trouble, they see a lot of fish in the ocean. And so now they have to make a new decision. So follow me carefully. Verse number 5. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, from Peltiel, the son of Lash. Verse number 16. Look at what it says. Then her husband went along with her to Baharim, weeping behind her. So Abner said to him, go return. And he returned. You see that? She married to somebody else, while David was running to save his life from her father, and she was given to another man. David came back after Saul is dead to marry the wife. Now here we are. David have to force to bring the wife back home, but the husband weep, cry, because maybe he too is in love with the wife. Why are you taking my wife from me? But remember, Michal loved David the first time. Don't forget that. I'll come to that in a minute. So pay attention to what I'm teaching today. This act seemed to have destroyed whatever love Michal had once felt for David. Because the next time we see her, she said caustically, critically of David when he dances before the Lord. Now Michal, that was in love with David, now speak against the very thing that David stand for. Speak against it. when love mingle with different things, when our minds and our bodies and our love is connecting to different places, we are not truthful in our love anymore. Look at what happened in 2 Samuel chapter number 6, verse, I believe, 15. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouting and with the sound of the trumpet. This is the God that gave him victory before his enemies. This is the God that protected him. This is the God that brought him out of the hands of the Philistines. This is the God that kept him alive. David is praising his God, and the wife that he is married to, that knew who he was, that fell in love with David, now turn against the God that David worshiped. What made him who he is? That David began to dance before and sung before his God. Now the so-called wife now speak. The so-called wife now speak against the God that David served. Something happened in the middle of it, and that is where I want to bring you in a minute. Something happened in the middle of it. In the middle of it, something happened. So follow me carefully. Verse number 16. Verse number 16. Now, as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and wailing before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. A lot of people are in love, married, but the people that they are lying on the bed with despise them. How it happened, I can't explain. I cannot explain. Some of you are married, but your husbands despise you. Some of you are married, but your wives despise you, belittle you, undermine you, curse you out, disrespect you, despise you. Michal was given to another man. Lived with that man for years. And David came back again and took her from the man. His heart is divided now. Now David is a king, serving his God and ruling the land and taking care of business. Michal's heart is divided. But it was Michal that fell in love with David. But because the love didn't continue, something happened in the middle of the love, I want to ask you a question wherever you are. Did something happen in the middle of your love sometime? In the middle, something happened. In the wilderness, something happened. The feelings is being divided sometime. You don't get some attention, so something happened. You don't get what you're supposed to get, so something happened. Somebody's not faithful, something happened. Something happened in the middle. In the middle, something happened. Your heart is divided. You can't even tell whether you are in love or not. You can't even tell what you're looking at. So sometimes you sleep with the same man on the bed, the same woman on the bed. You look at him like you want to finish him. The same love that you had for him, now it has turned into something different. When it comes to love, kings, prince, pastors, priests, bishops, prophet, archbishops, everybody are in the same boat. They are on the same boat. I don't care. You can be a good Christian, but you're a bad husband. You can be a good Christian, but you can be a bad wife. You can be a good Christian, but you can be a bad. Because you see, when it comes to love, there are certain requirements and there are certain qualifications and there are certain sacrifices. There are certain things a person has to do, and sometimes we become selfish in the midst of it. And so instead of you doing what requires of you, you become selfish, so you don't do it. Sometimes it becomes all about you, what you want to have. Sometimes people think marriage is their investment. I'm the one that helped the man, and I help him, and I help him, and so what? I'm the one that did this, and I saved. Michal saved David when his father was after David. Michal protected David. And so sometimes we use what we do in marriage against one another, thinking that is what we have to do. Listen to me. It doesn't matter what you do in the marriage. It is your business. It's your responsibility to do that. The day you got into it is the day you sacrifice. You said to yourself, I'm going to sleep with one man, I'm going to sleep with another one woman, and then you made a decision. In some tribe or in some culture, they marry 5 wives, some marry 10 wives, some marry 3 wives. David married more than one, and at the end of the day, that is what they live by. But I want to explain something to you. Follow me carefully, because this is very, very important in our culture today. Something is going on in our culture today that we need understanding of things. People have become more serious about themselves because of money. Money has become the middle. If you don't have money, marriage is not a place you enter. In this generation, you don't marry if you don't have money. I said it. My name is Reverend Isaac. Let me repeat it again. If you don't have money, don't get into marriage, because this will not be the right time for you to get into it. Actually, focus yourself, build yourself, get money, then you get into relationship. Other than that, happiness will not be yours. Joy will not be yours. Frustration will be part of your life. Depression will be part of your life. Disrespect will be part of your life. As a matter of fact, you will be bombarded with disrespect so much that you can't even live your life the way you want. That is what it is. This generation is different generation. In 80s and 70s, see, people fall in love and they can even go without money, The woman will sacrifice and help the man. Nowadays, it's not in there, Even if people do it, they will still use it against you. I helped you yesterday. I did this for you. I did that, and I did that. And so you have become his or her investment. So if you don't do what they want you to do, then it's time to kill you, take you out. Several killings that has been going on here, foreigners coming to America and killing one another, is because the man brought the woman here to America and paid the ticket, took care of the woman, and maybe the woman fell in love with somebody else. And then the man said, I won't let you. I've spent a lot of money on you. I'm going to kill you. And then they take their life. Some of them also claim that, they're in love, and why should you fall in love with somebody else? And then they shoot you. That's become like people think they own your life because they are married to you. We've become too demanding because we don't understand love. Yet we talk about it, but we don't understand it. Love doesn't kill. Love doesn't destroy. Love doesn't hate. You did not understand love from the beginning. Pastor, you don't understand what they did to me. Yes, I don't have to understand. But one thing I understand is love. Love doesn't betray, and love doesn't frustrate. Love doesn't break you, and love doesn't take from you, but love empowers you. Love stands by you. Even in your mess, love still stands to fight for what is in love with. Even if you walk away from love, love will not kill you. He loves you so much that he will not even kill you because you walk away from it. That's what love is. Jesus demonstrated love on the cross of Calvary. And we cannot understand love if we don't understand what Jesus did for us. He didn't do it because we're perfect. He didn't do it because we deserve it. He didn't do it because we are all. He didn't do it because we deserve it. He did it because he is love. And that is what love is. Michal saved David from the hands of his father. But she lost David in the middle of it because the father was after David. David was running to protect his life. But when he came back again, Michal has been given to somebody else. And at the end of the day, it became rough in the house. Now David is dancing, praising his God, serving his God. And the Bible said when Michal saw David doing all these things for his God and expecting David to do it for her, she's not getting the way David is falling in love with his God. The Bible says, and she despised him in her heart. We say love with our mouth, but we don't know what goes on in our heart. I've seen so many people that talk about love morning, afternoon. When the wife calls, I love you. When the husband calls, I love you. When the husband go to work and call the wife before they finish talking, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then the wife will do the same thing, I love you. Now you put the phone down, I won't put the phone down. You put the phone down, I won't put the phone down. Which means they're in love, crazy. So at the end of the day, the same people that do has turned into enemies. How do you come from I love you every minute and then you turn around and hate the one that you claim you are in love with? Let me tell you what love is. Love, when love falls in love with you and you claim you don't love that person again, true love can even look at you and say, because of the love I have for you, I won't keep you for myself. You can go, but I still love you.